I wanted to ask you how did the idea for the Soulmates come about? When did that idea first come into your life, and then how did all that come together? Because I mean, that's a lot of big names to and a lot of pieces of the puzzle that have to fit together. How did all that start?
Actually, the idea came from two directions. So they're rooted in two uh, different area. The one is that I was a huge Ian Anderson fan. I mean, his musicality, his intellectuality, he's a mastermind. So, and I really really loved Czech blues. So there was in strong Britain, Same goes for Ali Moore. And I had the idea, but I had this idea as I was 19 that I loved British prog rock, I King Crimson, this complex compositions, the lyrical content, the way the productions went, wonderful, early Genesis stuff, incredible stuff, and Jethro Tull anyway, and I loved the production skills. But I was missing this incredible American virtuosity, this Mike Stern or Ellie Moe, Brecker Brothers thing. But then again, this American side was not for me. Whenever it came to the vocals, which was not very often, but then it's silly lyrics, no poetry, no social things, So, and it was always a bit too light, but incredible virtuosity. So I said, okay, someone must come up with merging these two. So merging the values of prog rock and was mainly British, part of phenomenal Frank Zappa, and the mainly American virtuosity, part of Bram Dix. So and if someone come down and I said, okay, I was wondering that no one else came up with that idea. And this was Ian Anderson and Ellie Moeller. This must be merged, There's and this was gonna come off something very, very, very special out of this. And you must find great musicians who are following this vision. Like Ian Anderson was following it, and Ellie Moeller. Ellie Moeller said, I was over, and as I was a kid, I was 15, I went to every Jethro Tull concert in New York because he was a gentleman. And Ian said, yeah, well, I love Ellie Moeller. So this was obvious. And now, okay, you're saying the names, but this is a band of band leaders. And that's why we never had any ego problems.
Which is crazy because you would think it would be the exact opposite. You would think that with that many names, but when you reach a certain level,
no
why?
ego. Why?
Yeah.
We serve music. We have a mutual vision.
Yeah. Your boss is the product, right?
Absolutely.
The boss is the product.
Absolutely. And we have a mutual values and the kids, the families, everything. So this is just, it's great hangs. It's wonderful.
Well, in the Soulmates, you've created this group of musicians who've included, I mean, many of the artists you and I grew up listening to and admiring. I mean, like you said, Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, Al Di Meola, Bobby Kimball, Steve Lukather. You're talking about, I mean, these are, who was your first childhood, who was your first of these childhood influences who said yes to the band? And do you remember that conversation?
That was Ian Anderson.
Oh, wow.
And I went to a Jethro Tull concert and I went backstage, happens to be a guy who are allowed to go to backstage. And I said, Mr. Anderson, I'm Leslie Mandoki. I have a vision. I would like to merge prog rock with jazz rock, British prog rock with American jazz rock. It's a big important. And I was explaining, and he just trusted me. And he said,
had you guys known each other before that?
No.
So just boom, you guys clicked.
Yeah, maybe clicked, and then he said, it was cassette time, you know. And so, uh, if you have any music that you know to give me an imagination what you're talking about, but it makes a lot of sense. I said to him, I'm wondering that I'm a Hungarian refugee, that I'm coming up with this idea because it's so obvious that someone has to do that. You know, this to fuse that, you know, to melt this. And then I was sending him a cassette, and he was calling me, and I said, I like it, and I'm more than happy to be part of it. So he was the first. And then Bobby Kimball came in. And because he's and in a way, the Pavarotti of rock music, you know, so, and it was wonderful. And David Clayton Thomas, I called and I knew him, said, Dave, would you come over? And he came over, and we recorded only one song with Jack Bruce, Bobby Kimball, David Clayton Thomas, Ian Anderson. Whoops, I mean, made it big, you know, number one in the charts, you know, and with all these legends. And then it was called The Mother Europe, you know, it was not even, I mean, we recorded it later on again. And this was wonderful. And it was also a political moment because it was about, you know, the wall came down, and we thought that the world is going to be a peaceful place, and freedom is going to be self-explaining, you know. And unfortunately, it was not. But yeah, and then, you know, we just had incredible lot of fun, you know, together. I mean, it's a joyful thing, you know, hang out and doing it. So it's really good.
Well, and that comes through too. You know what I mean? You can, I mean, yeah, there are times there are albums like Get Back where, you know, you've got a band that's on its way out and they're fighting through it. But then you can also tell when everything gels, you know what I mean? Just like you said, that's what made that's obviously what made that last track possible, right?
Absolutely. You know, David, it's just because you feel each other, you know, we all have it in our life, you know, some strict intellectual, rational, you know, lines, you know, we have to get up and do it, you pay your taxes, whatever, you know, but then you have your emotional life. And this band is kind of, you know, because everybody's a band leader, you know, we don't have anything on our shoulder, you know, because Ian Anderson said once in an interview on a BBC, said, well, playing with Leslie, you know, this is the first and only time when I ever sung anybody else's lyrics and songs, but you know, wonderful. I'm be playing somewhere, and I'm touching down, I'm coming to the airport and sitting in a car, and I'm not watching are the posters on a wall or not, because it's Leslie's band. I'm just playing flute, and wonderful. You know,
But I'll tell you what, that we were talking about it before we started doing the interview for the show, and that song Blood in the Water, I mean, it really brought out just how vast the influences are, but also the first thing that hit me hard was Ian and his incredible flute work, and how it's just so great throughout the whole thing.
yeah.
I mean, it's just it's almost like you're watching a movie and you don't expect one of your favorite stars to show up, and then all of a sudden the star shows up and does a cameo, and then they stay, and then another one of your favorite stars shows up and does a different cameo, and it's just like, you know, little treat after little treat.
Yeah, it feels like for me as a writer too, so, and a producer, because it's just unfolds, and you know, it's just beautiful, you know.
Well,
And
and there's so many influences in your music with the Soulmates. I mean, yeah, we talk about progressive stuff, and yeah, there's rock, there's jazz, there's a little fusion, maybe I don't dare I say a little pop, a little folk, and so many combinations in between. I mean, it's just I'm so glad that these ideas that you had really kind of took shape in the way that they did.